What is up, world? What is up, people? This is Mr. You Know Who It Is, aka G-Man on Live, aka G-Man on Live, Fifth on it, aka G-Man Keeps It Real. What up, people? What up, world? So, I'd say one or two things. One or two things, or three things. For one, seems like I can't use this new program that I installed on another computer. I'm just gonna have to break on down and shell out that 200 or 300, 400 extra dollars that I don't need to shell out, and go ahead and get me a whole setup for live streaming and get me a whole, desktop computer, because doing it on the cheap, streaming on the cheap, is not going to work for me. Unless it's from a mobile device that can handle APKs, which that's the only other route I can go. But as far as streaming with gaming software, I can't do it on a tablet or something like a small MacBook. I can't do it on those processors and those computers and those components. So that's a bummer. Number two, this show was supposed to have, me and a few other guests, but things got canceled. People got canceled. They had other events, birthdays, celebrations. They had to go out of town, so it's just gonna be me. It's gonna be me, And number three, thanks for joining me. Number three, I'm not here on Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? I'm never uploading on Tuesdays. I'm not used to this. Usually it's on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, mostly Sunday. But so this is new for me. I just don't pop up on Tuesdays like this. But I know in order to grow my channel, I need to show more face, show up more on this channel, because it is a dying channel right now. But hey, that's enough talk about what I'm going through. I was just letting y'all know what was going on, and I guess sort of promised this video for Tuesday, so I didn't want to let the 4 individuals down that are watching my video. So I'm here, and we're going to get right into this, okay? So there was a statement heard all around the world, made by none other than the Mr. Incomparable, unpredictable, indecisive, horribly executed Mr. Martyr of the everyday social media, Kanye Aloysius West. Nah, his name ain't Aloysius. Okay, don't quote me on that one. Mr. Kanye West. He made a statement, a bold statement, as he always has done in the past, which I don't understand why people have been in an uproar for the past weeks or so, since May has started. I don't understand why we are so enamored and so in awe and still in shock that things come out of Kanye's mouth that aren't always politically correct, or they're not always in line with social justice or injustice or race and color or anything that's going on in the here and now. This is a man who is out of space. You know what I'm saying? This is a man who is tripping on acid. I'm not trying to discredit this man's genius. I'm not trying to discredit this man as a human being. I'm just saying we know this man is not stable. We know this. We should know it if we don't know. But the statement heard all around the world, which really got people like, okay, Kanye, it's time to go. What got his black card really taken off, and it wasn't Kim K, it wasn't his involvements with the Kardashians, it was this statement that slavery was a choice. And I'm gonna be honest, he went to the TMZ studio, which he said he doesn't fuck with TMZ, but apparently he was, I guess, in the neighborhood of TMZ, and he just walked in the studio, and I guess they were live or shooting or whatever, they were shooting and filming the show, and he was carrying on about, I guess, slaves and black people, and I guess it came up in the conversation while Kanye was there, and Kanye being Kanye, the museum, the not the museum, but the musician of infamous quotes in Tourette's, he goes about saying that, hey, maybe slavery, after 400 years, maybe slavery was a choice. After 400 years, we're still here. Maybe it was a choice. Was slavery a choice? It was kind of like a question and like a rhetorical one. Like it was like, help me out, guys. We're still here. We're going through all this social injustice, and we're still putting up with it in America. Maybe slavery was a choice. And as I think back of my days being on Facebook, the mundane Facebook, where everybody is a scholar and everybody knows everything about anything and everything. Just ask Facebook. Don't ask Google. Ask the people on Facebook. Ask the people who can't upload facial pictures, who can't upload anything remotely that looks like them. Ask the motherfuckers who upload cartoon characters as their AVIs and aviators. Ask them what history is about, and as I think about those kooks, not coons, but kooks, and those quacks on Facebook and YouTube. I will say YouTube has a quite a number of infamous and famous quacks that will tell you and it will tell you about history and rewrite history at the same time as it comes out of the depths and anal cavities of their ass. As I think back on these people and these individuals, I think back 3 or 5 years ago, how, I was on Facebook perusing and how people were bringing up all these links, posting up all these links about slavery and how the transatlantic slave trade was started by Africans. And I'm just like, wow, I never knew that. Now, I'm talking 5 years later, 5 years ago. Now we're 5 years later here. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking 5 years ago, I was just learning about how Africans were trading out POWs, prisoners of war, in Africa. Whoever took over whose tribe, they were imprisoned. Whoever lost, they were imprisoned or killed. It was no different than the European slaves or the Slav slaves, where it come from. The word Slavs is slaves. The Russian Slavs, the Czechs, and all them. Even Egypt in Africa had slaves, the Hebrews. If you even believe in the biblical terms of slave, it started somewhere, But 5 years ago, people was telling me that Africa, the continent of Africa, is what really popped off slavery. Now, I'm not here to say whether it's right or wrong. I'm not here to quote facts. I'm not here to fact check. You know what I'm saying? But it is quite interesting to me how so-called Africans were captured and enslaved so easily. Now, I was planning on, going through a whole bunch of articles and reading verbatim of what they said, but I don't think anybody really cares about that. I don't think nobody really cares about me going through these pages and reading articles and giving y'all a bedtime story, because that's kind of boring. So, I'm just going to shoot straight from the hip, okay? Just like in the movie Shaka Zulu, we're going to take it there, Y'all may think, oh, that's a fictional story. You can't use that. I can use anything I want to. It's my platform. So, Shaka Zulu. The movie Shaka Zulu. He fell in love with a woman, or he fell in lust, I don't know, with a woman from another tribe that he wanted. But she had a man. She had a husband. So, he decided, him being the alpha warrior he was going to take his troops and surround that tribe and take it over, kill the men, keep the women, and he was going to take that woman for his own, as his own concubine, and he did. And as the movie goes on, you see these, they call them the Spaniards, the Portuguese settlers or whatever, come over there with their tanned, whitish skin, peach skin, and they were over there fascinated at the African women, and as they danced in their grass skirts and their leaves covering or barely covering their buttocks and their pelvis, or their pelva, or whatever you want to call it, the medical term for the body part. You know what I'm getting at. No top, no bottom, just naked, booty butt naked. I'm shooting straight from the hip here. You had these women frolicking around doing their dances like they were doing a fucking ancient mating dance around the campfire. And the white men were jumping all on them, having sex with them, having fun with them, grinding on them. These white men were intrigued. And I am calling Portuguese and Spaniard men white. Yes. Because that's what we do in America, is black or white. This is America. I'll get more in depth on that one. But anyway, you had these white men grinding up on these sisters. Or should I say, not sisters, but African women, quote unquote. And they took a liking to them. So they took some of them back to the States. Now, before I even get into that, we know that Shaka Zulu was a leader, an African leader. So they say, so the ancient tale foretold. Whether it's fiction or non-fiction. We're just going to go based on the movie. So he knew of these white men. He was going to go to war with these white men until these white men told him, for every African or every POW, prisoner of war, that you have, if you give us them, let us send them back to the States. We'll let you rule this land. I don't know if he could rule the continent of Africa, but he ruled the land he was in, He could rule all that he saw. As long as he kept capturing or kept taking over these Africans or these POWs, these prisoners of war, he could keep all the land for himself. So he obliged. He said, oh, so if I get rid of all these imbeciles and ingrates, if I get rid of all these weaklings and these lames, I get to rule the land. The white man said, yes, give us every motherfucker you catch. Give us them. We'll get rid of them. So they sent all of them motherfuckers over to Africa. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Shaka Zulu is the reason why we got niggas in America. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling the story here. I'm just giving a synopsis. A good example. So they offered Shaka Zulu a fair trade. They were like, we'll leave you alone. We'll let you do whatever you want to do in Africa. We'll let you run these streets, son. Long as you keep capturing these prisoners of war, letting us take their families and their women and children back to the States. Let us take some of these, males over there, because we need strong backs over there. We need, we need workers to build our estates and our houses and cultivate our lands. We need more men over there. So give us all of those people. Give us all of them. And and in the movie, when they went over there, you had the white wives of these settlers and these pioneers, so to speak. They were getting all jealous of the women, picking at them. They were kind of disgusted by the African men. They were scoffing and, scuffling, and, they were appalled. Even though in the so-called real slavery in America, you had, you had African men being bedded with these white women. Or you had African women being bedded with these settlers, these masses. It happened. That's something I can say. It happened. So let me just go ahead and let me just go ahead and wrap this shit on up, man. Let me just go ahead and put it out there like this. Zulu. The moral of the story is Shaka Zulu was given a choice. I know y'all like, Mister, you know who it is? I know you ain't about to do this. Hey, I am about to do this. Because it needs to be done. Ain't nobody saying this shit. Shaka Zulu was given a choice. Whether he shared the land with these fellow tribes, or whether he took over these tribes around him and just had the kingdom for himself. Yes, Negroes, he was going to have all Wakanda. All Wakanda was going to be his. So that's what I'm saying. He had a choice. Hold on for a second. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he had a choice. He was given a choice by the settlers, by the Europeans, by the Portuguese, to either do right by the tribes that were around him, do right by his kingdom, let everybody live free and happy, or trade them motherfuckers in for whatever trinkets those Europeans or those Portuguese or Spaniards, whatever you want to call them, white men, had to offer. They gave the alpha male, Shaka Zulu, a choice. He was supposed to be the alpha male. He told them white settlers they need to go, but they was like, we can't leave because we got the guns, Negro. We not going nowhere because we want what you capturing. You don't want them Negroes. You don't like them Negroes. Let us have them. And I'm saying all that to say this. I'm saying all that to say this. Motherfuckers sit up here and they're going in on Kanye West for what he said. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Kanye West is like the truth seeker, or he's got a crystal ball in his head. He's Nostradamus. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but I am going to say this man isn't dumb. And yes, some of the things he says are badly timed. Some of the things he says, you're like, what the fuck is this crock of shit you talking about, Kanye? And it has got him exiled from the black community, which I'm sure he really does care about, right? He has the whole Kardashian empire in his hands. Or should I say they got him in their hands. You know, he's linked up right now. He's linked up with some powerful shit. Plus, he's under the wing of Trump, President Trump. And I'm not saying that like it's a huge feat. I'm just saying he's in a power. He's doing power moves right now. So I really think he's sitting up at night crying about black folks not liking him. I'm really trying to picture that right now. Nevertheless, as far as him saying that slavery was a choice, I slightly, I'm not going to say I wholeheartedly, but I slightly agree. Then there's another part of me that's like, nah, I don't think it was much of a choice for the prisoners of war because they were brought over here out of their free will. Because they were prisoners, of course. And Africans did sell prisoners of war, and tribes that were taken over, countries that were taken over, they did sell them. And it wasn't like settlers took over the whole Africa at that time. Now, over time, as you know, Negroes started working for white folks and started working under white folks, yes, we were taken over. But I'm talking about when it's before it started. I'm talking about when there were plans between the settlers and the Africans to transport from Africa to America. And it had been going on before America. It had been going on in Britain because they were tired of enslaving the white slaves because they would die off so quickly. They couldn't they couldn't bear the pain. Slavery had been going on for many years before America. You know? So I don't want to sit here and say it was a choice because nobody chooses to be a slave. You're kind of ushered into it, but there is a strong side of me that slightly agrees with it because we continue to live in this country that clearly does not ride for us. And when I say us, I'm talking about my skin shade. Because, you know, I'm not going to claim any pro-black primacy. I'm not going to claim any alliance to any pro-black anything. You can ask anybody that one, you know, because I'm not of that wave. But I will say that black folks are on a very tight time limit. Because America as we know it is growing into a melting pot every year, and we are we're being breeded out, okay? There's more beige people than anybody. There's more mixed people than anybody. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I don't find nothing wrong with the swirl and the interracial shit, but let's just face it. Let's just face it. They do say 80% of black folks are together, black men and black women, but I beg to differ because I'm seeing a growing scale of interracial, but that's neither here nor there. That's just the current state of America. But when we go back to the America of the 1400s, 1300s, where Africans were setting up shop to sell their own people. Not to say that Africans were just throwing niggas in the water willy-nilly, but I'm just saying it happened, and some of these Africans got tricked. They got bamboozled into giving out or giving away their people Whether the Spaniards were robbing them, whether the Portuguese were robbing them with guns, it doesn't matter. It still happened. So, Kanye West does put his foot in his mouth. He does say some things that are very belligerent, that are like, huh? What? Really, Ye? Ye back. But you're not going to get the old Ye back. He's too far gone. He's on Cloud Spaceship 9000. He's already in Pluto, and Pluto ain't even a planet. That man is out of here. But, you know, that's just the way of Hollywood. That's just the way it works. Sedation, drugs, fast life, fast money. So it ain't no telling what's going to come out of these stars' mouths. But I will say, some of it is very profound and very thought-provoking. That's why it went viral so fast, because people were actually enamored. People were actually in awe of it. People were actually trying to figure out what is going on here. I even watched the channel, you know, BJ's Idmore. He was saying that millennials are eating it up. They're saying that slavery was a choice, where you might as well say that slavery didn't exist. And I'm sitting here like, oh, they know it existed. History books are not are not non-existent. We got blogs about slavery. We got many blogs about slavery. We got a lot of kooks and quacks online that'll tell you about slavery. So it's not a topic that is being undercarriaged. It's not a topic that is being swept under the rug or being thrown in the back somewhere. We still know about it. Millennials are not dumb to the facts. We just see different perspectives. And yes, I am calling myself a millennial. Yeah, believe it or not, I was born in the late 80s. So, take it how you will. But, that's all I wanted to say about it, man. I just wanted to give my perspective on it. I didn't want to spend too much time on this. I want to apologize for the technical difficulties from earlier. And hopefully me and my crew will be back up and running next weekend, not this weekend, but we will return. And if you have any thoughts about Mr. Kanye West's statement, or maybe the interview he had with Charlemagne, which I didn't get into because that had shit to do with the main topic. I'm gonna just be honest. I had all these articles ready and all this shit to read, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna spit from the heart. I'm gonna spit this from the mind. Even if I'm rambling or whatever, I'm gonna spit this from the heart. Y'all will understand me and y'all will feel me, I know. But that's Mr. You Know Who It Is, man. That's all I got. I have. Y'all subscribe, let me know what you think. Comment, share it with everybody, share it with your family, your friends. Yeah, man. Y'all subscribe. Peace.